debate at PAC meeting and have all the questions answered that we had asked the presenters, and all of the information that was before us, and the vote that took place, where it was a huge majority of council that voted in favor of this. And I'm afraid that when we get to things like this, and now they come back to council and we want to defer, I find that this is where our vision gets very narrow for the future. And I think that we can't be thinking of what's it going to give us next budget year, the budget year after. We have to be thinking long term and for the betterment of this community. And I think this was a great example of a project that was going to be accessible to people who needed the accessibility, was going to enhance that location. And I think when we do things like this, we sort of drive that desire away for people to come before us and develop here. So I will certainly not support the deferral.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I support the deferral. And I don't think I ever would have wanted to compare myself to a member of the Senate, but in this instance, I think council has the opportunity to fulfill the function that that body has, which is to offer some sober second thought. And I'm certainly not opposed to this development. I'm as excited about it as Councillor Rivette was and Councillor Patel. But I think what we have to do is let's finish the material of PAC report number 1 before we move to PAC report number 2. Like, for example, we have tonight approved our looking at the whole Heart of the City program and making changes to it. Even Jonathan Hack, who originated the Heart of the City program over 10 years ago, recognizes that there's room for change. In fact, he gives some specifics about places we can change. Let's make those changes, because as our city grows and develops, the programs that serve it well should as well. But let's not start applying a hypothetical changed program to a current situation. Let's finish revising and revamping the program, and then let's entertain applications under the new program. Otherwise, we're working piecemeal. I think that this is definitely not a negative response to the proposal, but it is a call for us to take the time and let's get the program lined up first and then entertain the application under the program. This is new ground, so let's work through it with a new program.
Mr. Grant, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to support the deferral only because I heard when I was chairing the PAC meeting that we're missing pieces of information, and especially financial information. And I think we have a duty to our residents to ensure that when we make a decision, we do have all the financial information that's required. And I think our CFO can prepare, it's 2 weeks, it's not a major, I think that if I hear the deferral right, it's for the next meeting, is that correct? If that's not in the motion, then it should be. It should be for the next council meeting. That if we get that information, then we're making the decision knowing the full financial impact on our community, what this is going to cost our taxpayers. So that's why I'll support the deferral, and I think 2 weeks isn't going to make a difference in the project.
Mr. Sampson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try and keep my cool. I don't believe this. It was clear the other night that it would be appropriate to have seniors or whatever people want houses with accessible needs. I'm going to ask for you, Mr. Mayor Maureen. I've never heard before of any financial impact for the cotton mill, for other areas downtown and out west, but now we're down east and the dilapidated area that I walk daily, and I can see how dilapidated, stores that are vacant. It's unbelievable. You've been promising me since 3 years that the East End would be taken care of. This is our chance to clean up the village, to put housing there. I was bragging today. I told the gentleman there'll be more people coming there. They'll be buying gas here. They'll be buying lottery tickets. I visited the merchant. I was very proud and very happy that a development be located down there. So my question to Maureen is there any financial information to you or to Mr. Alexander missing in the Courthouse report? If I can call it Courthouse. Do you have any concerns? This is brand new and it's rotten and it's not fair to the East End merchant and all those that are planning to invest millions. There's a piece of land there that's green that we're collecting $2,000 of taxes. We could go up to 98 to 200,000. We're not in favor of it? Hey, something's wrong here. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Is there any information missing through you, Mr. Mayor, to our CFO?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in the report that you have in front of you this evening, it does speak to the upper limit area for the taxable grant. It's the $1.8 million. With respect to the information the council received at PAC, I'm not always at the PAC meeting, so I don't know if council received all of the information at PAC that you normally would receive when an application moves forward, because in that particular situation, the committee declined that application. So I'm not sure that at PAC you received the proper information. I know that there was a presentation, but I can't answer that.
I appreciate the fact you weren't there, but I believe Mr. Alexander was there. Maybe he could elaborate.
Alexander?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, the details of the application are not in the PAC, or the exact dollars are not in the PAC report, but that does flow from CPEC, where that information is done, is reviewed by CPEC, and that was the form of their recommendation. But these,
So you had all the info at CPAC, right?
At CPEC, absolutely.
Right. So there's nothing missing.
No.
All of a sudden, we want to move number one ahead. Why do we want to move number one ahead of number two? So they don't get their money? This is very, very unfair for the East End merchants. That is very, very unfair, and this is politics, and I can't stand it. So I'm against it, deferral.
Councilor Carr, please.
Well, Your Worship, I was going to try and not even speak on this deferral. I'm supportive of it because I think council should have all the information that's available to them. And some of my colleagues at the PAC meeting said they didn't have all the information. When one of my colleagues talks about the East End, and there's no, we've all, on City Council, we all talk about levelage and how important levelage is to this community. Levelage is very important to the CPEC committee, and in fact, two members of levelage sit on the CPEC committee, who, by the way, turned this application down. Everyone is concerned about levelage, and for a vibrant city where we want to be, levelage has to be part of it. And we will get levelage as part of the revitalization process. This particular property falls outside of that area. Why is it that we deal with the priority areas or the two downtown areas? It's because the downtown areas have always put money back into the community. Levelage, for instance, if you look at the streetlights in Levelage, they were paid for by the merchants of Levelage. This particular property is not in the Levelage, it's not in the priority area. That doesn't mean it can't apply for funding. It can. And one of the things the committee had asked council to do through PAC was to look at the programs that are contained in the CIP and say, okay, let's extend the CIP somewhat outside of the priority areas, but we've got to have a different funding mechanism for that. That's something that needs public input. You can't just willy-nilly do development all over the city because that's not fair.
Cotton Mill?
Order, the chair, please.
That's not fair. The Cotton Mills is a project that was approved by all of council. Everybody, the whole city was excited about renewal of the Cotton Mills. We're talking tonight about divestiture of the canal lands in the Port of Cornwall because everybody has this vision of what the waterfront could be. The most important thing this community has when they talk about development is the development of the waterfront. It's our jewel. It's the thing we have to be proud of. It's where our future lies, and the Cotton Mill project is part of that, and we should all be there to help it. Thank you. I'll vote for the deferral. Thank you.
Any further debate on the deferral? Anyone else? Councilor Plymouth? Murphy?
So, this is what happens when council does not get full information. So I know that there's always a natural tension between staff and management and council. I get that. I've been here 8 years, so I know that. And that's inevitable, and we have to sort of balance that out and balance out our roles and figure out our turf. But when we as council don't get full information, it does lead to this kind of situation. So at the last PAC meeting, I was one that had expressed confusion at why is it that we were making this decision when we didn't have a full and thorough report from CPAC. But it was clear that PAC wanted to proceed, and it was clear that staff were prepared to answer questions, and so we did. We had a long PAC meeting. We often do, but this one was really long and really involved, and we debated this issue. And so at the end of that long debate, I felt like we had received the information that staff was prepared to provide and that CPAC was prepared to provide. And so we made a decision. And I stand by that decision. I think we spent that time. I would have wanted a deferral at that point. It's kind of late now to ask for this. It's when we debate things that we should have the full information. Otherwise, we end up with deferrals, and we'll debate it next time, and then what will happen at the next council meeting. I'm sorry to be expressing this frustration tonight, but I'm feeling that way tonight. So I'm going to stand by the decision I made at PAC after a full debate, after getting responses to my questions and responses from the presenters. It had a great accessibility component. The East End definitely needs our attention. When I look at other projects that we've supported and that I fully supported, I don't see why we wouldn't fully support this one. I had some questions at the last PAC meeting, but we fully debated it, and so I stand by that. I will not support the deferral. However, if the deferral passes, that's fine. More information is good. And I will gladly receive that and read it. So I do not support the deferral.
So Murphy, please.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I spent a lot of time on the weekend thinking about this and putting it aside and going back to it again. I'm not in favor of this deferral for a lot of the reasons that were mentioned. We spent over an hour discussing this one particular issue, asking the builders the questions we thought were pertinent. Administration did not raise any red flags at that time, and then we voted to proceed with this project at PAC to bring it to council for approval. And now we want to defer it. And so we basically said, okay, go ahead. You shouldn't go ahead necessarily because it does have to get council approval, but we are PAC. Council is PAC. And it just concerns me because now pretty much the project looks good, but now we got to wait. That will be a deferral. Now I got to put the brakes on it. As the expression was used earlier, the horse is out of the barn. And now we're going to try and rein it back in. And I do have a problem with this deferral, this isn't new ground, as Councillor Rivette pointed out. And if we're talking about revamping the CIP program, that's fine. This project didn't come in after we decided to have that conversation. This project came to us before we decided to have this conversation. So in my estimation, it's not fair to have them, you'll be part of the new revamped CIP. You've already made the application and you want to move forward, or you don't, or council could deny it. Either way, they deserve an answer. Thank you, Your Worship.
Clarification briefly, Councilor Dubois?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Clarification is that I just want residents to know that who the PAC committee is, and the PAC committee is the exact people who are sitting at this table who referred it to this meeting for approval. So that's the only clarification I wanted to make, that PAC was made up of the same members of council.
Thank you. I just want to be on the record because it is a recorded vote, but I will roll vote in favor of the deferral. Not having attended the PAC meeting, I would welcome the opportunity, of course, to get any. Sorry?
Still voting, you weren't here to hear all the information.
Oh, that's why I'm voting for the deferral, because it would give me the opportunity to get all that information that you received and any other information that's possibly been referred to. So, all those in favor of the deferral? Sorry, Councilor Barry.
I just want to let everybody know I'm not against retrofit. Never have. At the end of the day, there's a lot of money involved. There will be an impact to the grant organization, the grant money that we're being involved with. I want to know, I'm not doing my job if I don't stand up and find out what all the information that I need to have to make a proper decision. Again, I'll repeat, I'm not against the project. What I'm against is not having all the information.
Mr. Mayor, I wouldn't be doing
Councilor
myself,
Sampson,
I
you
don't
have the
call for
floor.
a point of
You do
order.
not have the floor.
Point of order.
Not right now.
He's out of order. You called
I
for
will
the vote, he's
decide-
out of order.
I will decide on the proceedings of this meeting.
Called for the vote, did you not? Yes or no?
I will not be challenged by one counselor.
I'm
You
just
wanna put it-
asking for
no, hold on.
clarification.
You want